Good morning, and welcome to your daily Farm and Home Show, brought to you by the University of Kentucky Cooperative Extension Service. And now, here's your host.
Good morning and welcome to your Farm and Home Show. My name is Joanna Coles, and this morning we're visiting with Kristin Hildabrand. She's a Warren County Extension Agent for Horticulture. Good morning, Kristin.
Good morning, Joanna.
Well, Kristin, all week we've been talking about one of your favorite things, and that's hummingbirds. And we've talked about the plants and then how to pick a feeder. But, you know, people ask, what do I put in the feeder?
Yeah, we get that a lot of questions. And so we thought people would benefit from talking about, you know, if you don't have plants available, then you can make your own solution at home. And a lot of times you will find at these home and garden centers that they also carry some of the nutrient solution there. And, you know, the thing about those is that really they're not necessary. Sometimes too that they say that there's preservatives that they add to that when they have that available. And again, we want to keep out the red food dye so that way it doesn't hurt those hummers. We really just want you to have a clear solution. So the best thing that you can do is just make it at home, really on a cooktop like this. What you can do is just take 4 parts water and dissolve a cup of sugar in that. And usually you want to boil that on top of the stove in a pot or a pan, and then let that boil for at least 2 minutes. And that just helps with the fermentation process to keep it, slow that down. Really, you don't have to go over more than that. You just want to dissolve that 1 cup of sugar in the 4 cups of water. And then, again, you want to let that cool. You don't want to, add it to your feeder really quickly. A lot of times, the hummingbirds, they consume so much in the summertime because, they flutter, I think it's like 53 times in a minute. And so really they're consuming a lot of energy at that point. And so if you can make a head and then replace whenever it's needed, then that's really the best way. And most times after it's cool, people will stick it in the refrigerator, and then when they need it, they have it and they can just replace it. But again, we don't require you to add any red food coloring to it. We don't even want you to add any honey to it. Sometimes people have asked about, can I use honey in place of the sugar? We don't want you to do that either, because that can be harmful to the hummingbirds as well. So make your solution at home. Don't buy what's at the store, because again, we don't want that red food coloring and then that preservatives that they add to it. And it's just easy. Just make it at home. Involve your kids. Get them involved. They enjoy that process too.
Now, Kristin, let me ask. So, a lot of times the hummingbirds will find these feeders very quickly,
yes,
but they don't like to share.
They don't. You're exactly right, Joanna. So males are pretty, dominant over one feeder. So it's really recommended if you have more than one male, you want to have several feeders. And you'll kind of have to watch to see which hummingbirds you do get, because again, the males are going to have that ruby red throat to them. And usually you like to have at least, I think they recommend, I think they say one male will keep about 7 to 8 females around it. So generally, they're trying to track the females, so you want to have several different ones available. You want to space those out 15 feet apart, so that way that they don't, be territorial over all that. It's interesting to watch, and you get a kick out of it when you start to see them kind of fighting and stuff. But one thing I do want to mention about having multiple feeders too is that it's really important that you clean out these in between. I hope you can kind of see it. Sometimes when our summer conditions here in Kentucky get about 90 degrees, a lot of times this solution can get really, really cloudy, and oftentimes it can promote mold, and that nectar at that point is not very good for those hummers to consume. So you really need to replace it every 2 days. Now, if it's not that hot, that 90-degree temperature, you can let it go usually about a couple of days. A week is usually the max that you want to go at. And if they're not eating at it, sometimes you can do half solutions, like a half instead of filling it all the way full, and then that way that you can kind of see about how much is being eaten. But again, when you're picking out your feeders, you want a feeder that's easy to clean. So you can easily see, we're going to take this off, and I had a little bit of some molds that got into this one, but if you'll notice that there's brushes that you can find that make it really, really easy to clean. Now, we want you to use a mild detergent when you're cleaning it out, obviously, but this brush will allow you to kind of get in the bottom, kind of get on the sides there, which I was hoping that, you could see that, because sometimes it's hard to get down in there because it's so tight and it's tubular. So you want to make sure it's cleaned out really, really well. They even recommend to use a little bit of bleach solution solution. You can dilute that down with water just to make sure that everything out of there is clean.
Absolutely. So if you're noticing your hummers aren't coming out and feeding, it might be you need to clean your container. So Kristin, thanks for the information, and we appreciate you watching. Have a great day.
If you have questions about today's topic, please call the Warren County Extension Office at the number on your screen. Thanks for watching and have a great day.